So we're back up to the start. This time it's a heat of the Britannia Challenge Cup. That's for club coxed fours. So you see the cox stacked up in the bows. The might of Sydney Rowing Club in the light blue with the white blades. They're on the left-hand side of your picture, easy to spot in a yellow boat. And on this right-hand side of the picture, the distinctive green and white blades of City of Bristol Rowing Club.
Yeah, and you know, coming all the way from Australia, it's you know, they're here to race, and they're here to race all week.
Yeah, they certainly are. And Sydney Rowing Club have really done well whenever they've come over to Henley. They only send the very best rowers to this Henley course, and you can already see why, Akil, can't you, with that lead that Sydney have got?
Yeah, they're off to a very strong start. You can see it looks like they're running a little bit higher than the City of Bristol, but you know, and very strong.
So we're now going back live to the race, Akil, and we can see this Sydney crew. Just talk us through how they're rowing, Akil.
Well, I really like the way that they're very long. Right now, it looks like they're a little relaxed. They've got a lead, and so right now they're just trying to maintain, make no mistakes. You can see they're getting out. Their catches are looking nice. The oars are going right into the water. A little bit of backsplash, nice and long. You can see the stroke seat of that crew. Alec Hoskin just really just stretching out there and taking the boys along for a ride.
Yeah, this Sydney crew coached by Shane Mulvaney, the Irishman, the Irish former lightweight oarsman, has been at the World Championships, and he works in that fantastic coaching setup with Donovan Czech, the South African Olympian, who won, I think, a medal in 2004 in the Athens Olympics, if memory serves.
Yeah, one question I have: I've seen a lot of buckets recently in terms of fours, and you know, just can you walk me through the advantages of that?
Yeah, well, we had a bucket on our fours rig. Our very first crew that I raced in Henley, this was ages ago, back in 1975, and the theory was that given the forces on the riggers in the boat from the four rowers, that the boat went straighter with the bucket, so there was less, you know, need to twitch the rudder. And quite often, you know, it's quite good if you've got the three-man behind him. So we can see the three-man there in that crew. That's James Wadsworth from City of Bristol. He might feel better with an oar straight behind him, right, kind of backing him up. So yeah, I guess you do see a lot of bucket rigs here, and it's either to do with the steering or it's to do with making the guy in three feel really better that someone really powerful is behind him.
Right, and if you're new to the sport of rowing, when we say bucket, that's one athlete rowing on the same side as another right behind him.
Yeah, yeah, it used to be called Italian rig or anything else. Let's take through the Sydney crew. We've already mentioned Alec Hoskin, the 19-year-old in the stroke seat, studying at Sydney University. Rory Menzies, 19. Tom Hart behind him, owner-operator of the fastest-growing hydroblasting and edging company.
And guess who he employs?
Yeah.
Alec Hoskin.
Alec Hoskin, the stroke man. And Declan Glendenning, who is studying construction and project management. And we mustn't forget Nieta Jones, the 19-year-old cox. This is a very strong crew. They've done really, really well in Australia. And they had a pretty easy race yesterday. They've had a pretty easy race today.
Yeah. I
think there's only 16 entries, 29 entries, 16 race.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And not to take anything away from this City of Bristol crew, they're still out there giving it their all, despite being down a bit.
Yeah, they are. And yesterday, City of Bristol came through really well. I think, you know, a great race. They took a small lead up the island and they beat Tideway Scullers. I remember the commentary, you know, Greg Searle was saying, because it's up to the M4, Sculler's going to turn left back to London, which they had to because they've taken their boat trailer now, or are Bristol going to turn right, and Bristol prevailed over Scullers.
Right, and one of the difference you can see here is that this Bristol crew, their rhythm, their stroke rating is a little bit higher. They're trying anything they can to get back into this race, but there may not be enough time for that.
Yeah, and Sydney taking it nice and easy. I can see them really coming up. It just looks beautiful to row that way. These guys, if they do get through, and it looks highly likely that they will come up against Molesey Boat Club tomorrow in the, or it's Thursday. I can't remember if it's a rest day tomorrow. Thursday or Friday, and Molesey will be quite a different proposition, I would think, from City of Bristol, and will press Sydney hard. But as we come up to the finish, it is the men from Sydney Rowing Club Australia who cross the line comfortably ahead of City of Bristol. Well, confirmation, Sydney Rowing Club beat City of Bristol in a heat of the Britannia Challenge Cup.